Welcome to another episode of Jakpa Stories. On today's episode, I am with Athena Magulus. Did I get that right?
You did.
All right. Welcome to Jakpa Stories.
Thank you for the invite. I'm so happy to be here.
We're really happy to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Athena.
Yes.
I thought I was going to screw up your last name. But,
I know.
You know, Magulus.
You got it on the first try. So.
Yeah. And you said that's a Greek name?
Yes, exactly. So from my grandfather, I grew up in the Bahamas originally.
Okay.
Born and raised. But on my dad's side, we have Greek heritage.
Amazing. That's really good. So welcome to Jakpa Stories. If you were to introduce yourself to people who don't know you, how would you do it?
Good question. If I were to introduce myself to people that did not know me, I'll use words I think other people would use.
Okay.
I think that's fair. I've heard resilient, definitely a go-getter.
Nice.
Creative, kind of fun, bright, warm. So I think those would be words that I would use to describe me. Someone that's lived in a couple of countries and has traveled and is open to new experiences.
I like that. Yeah. And I'm going to come back to the travel part because I know there's a whole lot to explore and touch when it comes to that.
For sure.
So Athena's resilience. She's a go-getter. She's passionate. She's like a light bulb in every room she gets into. And in terms of origin, I know you already mentioned that you're from the Bahamas, but with Greek heritage.
Yeah.
So have you ever heard the word Jakpa?
Honestly, before attending the launch, I'd never heard of the word.
Are you serious?
Never. I don't know if it's because I'm, from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
We don't use that word ever. But it was the first time I'd ever heard it.
So when you heard the word, did it spark your curiosity? Like, what exactly does
it
this
sounds like
mean?
a party, right?
Okay.
Jakpa. Like, I don't know. Like, it sounds like something you should be dancing to.
Okay.
Like compa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a Haitian word for a certain dance. Like, just sounds like something that means freedom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, Jakpa means freedom to some people.
Really?
Yeah. The word in itself, it's a Nigerian word.
Okay.
Originated from the Yoruba tribe.
Oh, okay.
And it means to run. It means to take off. It means to leave, like just relocate, right? So the word itself is associated with immigration a whole lot, right? So when we thought of Jakpa Stories, we're thinking about all the different immigrants and their experiences and the different cultures that they bring together, not just here in Canada, but all across the world. So US, Australia, England, and all different places.
Right.
So it's really just looking at immigrants, their experiences before you ever think of immigrating.
Right.
During the process of immigrating.
Right.
After you've already immigrated.
Right.
Right. And right now we're having a lot of folks who immigrated, but they're moving back to the countries of origin. Because, for different reasons, maybe they probably achieved everything they wanted to achieve, or there are better opportunities for them back home. But for today, we're focusing on Athena's story, Athena's Jakpa story. So, have you always known that you'd be in Canada, or how did that ever get into your mind? How did that start?
Great question. Actually, it was the opposite. I always felt like I would end up anywhere but Canada because so many people, primarily from the Bahamas, love to come to Canada for school.
Okay.
And I was always someone that wanted to go against the grain a little.
Okay.
So I went to university in the US, actually, before moving to Canada. Canada was after I got my undergrad. And
what school was that?
It was University of Richmond.
Oh, okay.
And so when you attend there was...
Is that like Richmond in Texas, or because I know you got
Virginia, actually.
Okay. Yeah. I know you have Richmond in so many different.
Yeah, it's true.
States
It's true. Yeah, so it's in Virginia.
Okay.
And they had this program. I don't know if it still exists, but if you applied and you got in, you got for the most part a near full ride.
Oh,
yeah. So
a scholarship.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. So it was one of those things where I prefer to go someplace that maybe no one goes.
Yeah.
If there's going to be an opportunity for me to go without having to pay. That was a really big.
I mean, if I don't have to pay, that's always going to be my path. I mean, like, honestly, like, sometimes you pay, it's good value when you pay.
Right, of course.
But
of course,
at the same time, there are a lot of schools that are offering scholarships and all that. And if you look at the quality of the education versus what you're actually paying for other schools, there's really no big difference.
Exactly. It's not worth it.
Right?
Yep.
And coming from an island, being an island girl and everything, you don't want to go give those who already have money a whole lot of money.
What's the point of that?
So you got full ride, and that's for undergrad.
Yes.
And after that, how did Canada come into picture?
Right. So I ended up getting a small job like we all do when we graduate, right?
Yeah.
A job we hate. It was a call center job.
Okay.
It was regarding health records, so medical records.
Yeah.
I loved science, was always in science, was always in health. And seeing what women went through on those jobs, like those smaller jobs, really made me want to go back to school immediately.
Oh. So that was motivation for you to
for sure.
go back to school.
For sure.
And prior to the job, like you had never really being in that frame of mind where you're pushing yourself to probably go do a master's right away.
Right.
Because for a lot of people that I know, they're always like, hey, you know what? Especially if they were paying for tuition, that's already a whole lot of bills just waiting.
Yeah.
Especially if you got like student loans and stuff like that. So if once you graduate, you're just like, you know what? I got to go hustle and just work and pay off some of those bills before I go top up again.
Exactly. And actually what I've found, because I worked in admissions in University of Richmond, but also I have a lot of exposure to kind of the hiring or granting process now in my current role. What I've found is that a lot of people prefer older applicants.
Oh.
They do. There's a preference given to older applicants. That's for med school. That's for any kind of graduate programs. It's because there's an expectation that you've lived a little bit, you've seen some things in your career, and you will give quality work.
Okay. So it's almost like you've had some experience.
Right.
You should know exactly what you want at this point.
Exactly.
Right? It's not, my mom said I should do this or my dad said I should do this.
Exactly.
You've probably had some experience out there in the field working. And right now you're
clear.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's really good. So the motivation came from there to
for sure
to go back to school.
Yes.
And what exactly sparked your motivation to go back to school? Was it just some of the things that a lot of ladies were experiencing, or from that particular job, the first job?
I think for me, a lot of times we talk about community, right? Like, I mean, a big part of Jakpa is like you wanting to build something for your community, for your family.
Yeah.
I think what happened with me is I had family members that had been abroad, that had built a life abroad in the US, sit me down and said, hey, your time in the US is coming to an end. Your visa is going to expire at some point. What's your next step? And I think having that conversation with them, they let me know like Canada looks like a great place to move to. It looks like immigration is a little bit easier to get in at the time. It was much easier in the US then compared to even now, right? It's way more difficult.
Yeah, especially with everything going on right now.
Right. And so I just made the move. It was kind of, this was my second time now, like just picking my whole life up and
that's
moving.
Your second Jakpa story.
Exactly.
Because the first one, moving out from Bahamas to and how old were you when you?
I was actually 16.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was very young.
Very young.
Very, very young.
And like going out there, and did you have family in Richmond?
No family anywhere. I've always moved
you've been
solo
like,
dolo.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's really inspirational because a lot of 16-year-old, I think about a typical kid from Africa. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of them who go out to, different schools, whether it's in the UK or in the US or Canada. sometimes it's always around the 17, 18-year mark where it's like, you know what? We've put everything in you, both the values, you should know a little bit about the culture and everything. So now we're opening up the door. Go live your life. Go do what you got to do.
Right.
So 16,
I know.
That's a bit early.
Yeah, very early.
Wow.
I was very mature, I think, prior to leaving.
Okay.
I also think it was a matter of desperation. I was actually homeless my senior year of high school.
Tell me about that.
I know, it's a real story. So in my senior year, everyone's planning their life, prom or like whatever little dance, planning university. And for me, I'm a child of a single parent.
Okay.
My mom primarily was my main caregiver. My dad was definitely around, just in case he sees this.
Yeah.
But my mom was the one that raised me for the most part. And at that time, financially, we were just a little bit unstable.
Okay.
And we got evicted from our apartment.
Oh.
And so, during my senior year, I was just packing all my stuff out of a little 2-bedroom apartment into boxes.
Oh my God.
It was just very heartbreaking. All my little trophies had to get thrown away.
Yeah.
I think a big part of my Jakpa story all around was just out of desperation, like a desire to build a life that felt safe.
Yeah.
Build a life that felt like I could relax in it. I could paint the walls if I wanted to. I could hang up something. It wasn't an apartment. It was mine.
And not having to look over your shoulder every time.
Exactly.
I mean, for a 16-year-old with that happening, I can only imagine what you would have thought at that moment, right? And being in high school, just about wrapping up. Most kids at that stage, they're not thinking about the things that you were dealing with.
Yeah, for sure.
At that point, is almost like, hey, you know what? Go get ready for prom. What dress are you gonna get? Who's the boyfriend at that point? Who's gonna take you to prom and stuff like that?
That's true.
But would you say that experience as well also kind of shaped you and made you mature a lot faster to face other challenges heading out to the university?
Yeah, I think one thing that I feel immigrants often don't value enough is our story of hardship.
Yeah.
That hardship is what gives us the grace, the strength, the power,
100%,
the vigor,
100%.
to endure when we travel and we go to new countries and we have to build a whole new life from nothing.
Yeah.
I think that when I was faced with challenges, I would always say, oh, nothing is like that, right? Nothing can beat packing all your stuff and not having anywhere to go. Like there's nothing that is harder than that. And so when challenges would come, that would be my internal, I guess, standard that I would say I can rise above this because I've risen above much worse than this.
I like that because that's the inner story of that experience that it's sort of that milestone,
right?
Or like a benchmark, sort of.
Exactly.
Where you're like, you know what? I've gone through like the worst of the worst.
Exactly.
There's nothing that would beat this. And when you're facing other challenges, it's almost like if you can't measure up to this, then
what is this? I'll survive it.
Yeah. It's going to be a walk in the park. Maybe requiring some
growth.
Some growth to be able to navigate it.
Yeah.
But for sure. So you wrap up from Richmond.
Yes.
You go to, you start working that job.
Right.
And then thankfully you had family or folks who were experienced as well.
Right.
Who kind of pointed you towards the path to come to Canada.
Yes.
And how was the process for you getting over to Canada?
Wow.
Because I've heard so many different stories, right? Some people, like come in as students. Some others are lucky enough to come in as permanent residents.
Right.
Some other people to just get visas, like visiting visas.
And they just make their way.
Yeah.
I think what's crazy, my story is crazy. Okay. I feel like at any point, if you listen to my story at different stages, I have so many miracles that it's mind blowing. So for me, I had one more week on my US visa.
Wow.
Yeah, let's get into it.
That's pressure.
Yeah, pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
Pressure, right? I had one more week on my US visa. I was sending out emails
Wow.
because the system is a little bit different in Canada. In the US, you put in your application through a school, and then usually based on your grades, etc., they'll potentially accept you.
Okay.
But in Canada, the way it works is that you actually need a researcher to agree to take you on if you're looking for a placement in a lab. And the reason I looked for a placement in the lab is because if you go that route, they pay.
Interesting. Yeah, so you did your research. Listen, as a researcher.
I cannot pay for nothing, okay? I don't got it. So yeah, it was really important to me for my education that I find ways to have it covered because like I said before, where I was coming from, there was no one that was going to fund that for me. And I knew that that would require me to then come up with very interesting ways to kind of get that covered. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically I applied in that week. Somehow one of the professors reached back out. I was exactly what she was looking for. I ended up doing research on vaginal health, but it was for Kenyan women. So it was Black women, which I love.
So it was very niche specific.
Exactly.
Wow.
And so that's why I said I don't know what other people believe in, but I believe in God. And I just believe that some of these things are kind of ordered.
Yes.
And it just happened in that 1 week I had left.
Within the 1 week?
Within that week.
So I can imagine all of that pressure.
Yep. And I had to interview everything. Yep. All in 1 week.
I mean, that's a miracle there.
It was a miracle.
Like there's nothing else to like describe that, because only the pressure that you're thinking of, hey, you know what? You got limited time to be in the country. Either you want to, like mess up your future visits by overstaying your visa and stuff. And then you're thinking about the path forward at that time.
Exactly.
And so many applications going out and interviews and everything. Mm-hmm. And it happens within that 1 week.
That's it.
Wow.
Insane. And I think just to, I guess, encourage people, I took steps toward also making that happen to some degree.
I was about to go to that spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Because for someone who's watching and listening, they're probably thinking, oh, Athena is just favored. She's just blessed, and for that person, the person is probably just sitting down and praying without taking any actions.
Yep.
So I think part of that story, which I was just about coming to, which you already went there, was what exactly were you doing? Right? Because a lot of times you could see two people going through the same thing.
Right. 1,000%.
And for one of them, things just don't seem to be going anywhere. Yeah. For the other person, in a short while, you start seeing a lot of changes, a lot of transition, a lot of progress.
Yes.
But once they come out, they kind of look to be exactly the same, but there's a whole lot going on the back end.
Right.
So tell me about what was going on the back end then.
So I don't think anybody from my family is probably going to see all of this. Yeah. So I'm hopeful that what I disclose here is between us, guys.
That's right.
There was someone else that my family had a conversation with that's about the same age as me at the same time around Canada, moving to Canada.
Okay.
I took the necessary exams. They did not. I went out above and beyond to try to reach out to them to make sure that we're studying together, all those things. And they did not take the steps.
Yeah.
In their defense, I think there was a different kind of self-talk and a different kind of community talk around them.
Okay.
So sometimes we let other people's voices drown out the things in us that we are called to do. And what's crazy is their path was going to be mental health, and we didn't know COVID was going to happen.
Oh.
But if they had followed the steps, our family would have collectively supported us financially to some degree with what they could have. we would have probably worked together while we were here.
Yeah.
And then we would have made it out together was the plan, right?
Yeah.
When we had the family conversation. But unfortunately, they didn't take those steps. And now our life looks completely different. So I do want to say that, like, I believe in prayer. Yep. I believe in, all those things. At the same time, there is a part that we have to play to
100%.
make our dreams come true. Our Jakpa story, something significant.
To make it a reality.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the action is really the part where certain people miss some things. You can desire as much as you want. You could make certain wishes as much as you want, but some of them require a lot of work.
A lot of work.
So for anyone watching this, it still comes back to some of the things which we've shared in the past, very similar to what Athena is talking about. You got to do your research. Yeah. You got to, do your part. Don't just depend on what people are telling you.
Yes.
Do your research. Find out as much as possible from what you're about to embark on, and take the necessary action. There are certain people, some friends that I've spoken to ever since, I moved out here. A lot of times, like, they always reach out, like, hey, and it's very funny that they only reach out when things appear to be going bad or moving from bad to worse. The moment it goes around that circle and things kind of balance up, going back into the good phase,
right?
They quickly forget that they were supposed to be working on something.
Yes, it's true.
Right? Mm-hmm. And the moment they forget about it, you have that period where things seem to be going smoothly. It's a state. And then later on, it switches again.
Yeah.
When it switches again, that's probably like 2 years later on.
Right.
And you're like, oh, this thing, can you please help me out with this information?
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'm just like, dude, I've told you this thing, this is like probably the 5th or 6th time we're having this conversation.
Same conversation.
If you're not taking action, nothing is going to change.
Yep.
So I really like what you shared, because that usually makes a lot of difference between two people.
Yeah.
When they go to a, completely new place, or they're embarking on the same journey. Anybody who is heading out on their own Jakpa journey, the difference is in who you know, what you know, and the actions you take.
1,000%. And before we just move on, because you asked for practical things.
Yeah.
Oh, I went online and I looked at universities that I was thinking about going to in Canada.
Yeah.
I looked at their labs and saw if there were any Black or brown people.
Oh.
I reached out to those people directly and said, hey, I'm in a situation where I'm the first in my family to do this.
Oh.
I need some guidance. Can you look over my resume? And there was a lady, I don't remember her name at this moment. She just had a child. She went to University of Toronto. She was in a graduate program. And she reviewed my resume.
Amazing.
And she got back to me. And so if 10 people say no, there's going to be one person that says yes.
Yep.
And so I just want to reiterate that there are people that are where you want to be. It doesn't have to be the CEO of a company. It doesn't have to be the manager in a company. It doesn't have to be the PI in a graduate program, or the lead researcher. Sometimes it's just that small voice in the lab that knows this is how a lab works. They know a little bit more than you, and they can get you there.
Yeah. I usually call those people, they're not necessarily the gatekeepers, but they have all the information that you need.
Yeah.
Because most of the times, it's so easy to want to connect with the director or the manager, or, whoever is up there that, will be able to be the person to open the door. But sometimes it's just, who is it that reports to this person? Or who is it that is a colleague of this other person?
Right.
Those are usually the people that have a ton of information that most people are not really focusing on.
1,000%. Like the secretary.
Yes.
She handles the schedules. She actually knows if the person is available or not available.
Sure.
She can get you in there.
Sure.
So I think it's really important when people wonder how some do more or get ahead, who they're kind to. Be kind to everyone.
100%.
You don't know what that person has access to. Maybe their own family member has access to. You never know.
That's very true. So I know we've been talking about all your Jakpa struggle and how you eventually got in. I would say for people who don't know you, I know you to have like, you're multi-talented. For those who don't know, Athena is also an entrepreneur. She's a researcher. What else do you do on the side?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so for sure I've started a couple of things.
Probably a real estate investor.
Actually, I have purchased something recently. So yeah, I think I'm just one of those people growing up. My dad is, like I said, he has been around. So my dad is definitely a business guy. He's an accountant by trade. He invests in small businesses all the time. And so watching him, those are the kind of conversations we had at the dinner table or parked in the car after school. And him challenging me to think bigger, think more. And so I think it's really important to have that kind of community. Like, I just can't say it enough because sometimes our finances look crazy. We don't have the money to make something happen. And so you do need other people around you that's going to say, doesn't matter what it looks like, let's go and get it. Let's go and do it. And so, yeah, for things that I've done, I don't know if I would say started a nonprofit, but we'll get to that. You'll ask me things that I've contributed to in like immigrant communities, but I've founded an organization that's been running for the last year. I have funded, like when I visited Ghana for a time, and I funded education for a young woman that was house help at the time, but now is a nurse, married with a baby girl. So I've just seen a lot of how small actions can really transform a life. And I try to live my life that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, before I forget, I wanted to touch that particular story because one of the reasons why I started Jakpa Stories was a way to give back. Yeah. Because there's so many people out there who are going through a lot. There's someone that probably just landed and they're thinking about, hey, what's going to be my next couple of steps to take to survive, to make sure that I'm not washing plates. Like, it used to be a joke back then.
Yeah, it's real.
It's real.
It's real.
It's so real. So, and we talked about your community, and this is one of the reasons why we try to get a lot of folks who have the experience, who have done some really amazing things. And it's really all about inspiring other people out there who are thinking about doing something bigger than themselves.
Right.
And not to stay complacent, not to just, if you get a 60K job, that's good. But you can stretch. You can go beyond that.
1,000%.
You can go to 80K, you can go to 100K, you can go to 150, 200.
Yes.
You could do one, you could do two. You could consult, you could go. There's so many, right? So it's really to push immigrants out there to be the best versions of themselves.
Yes.
And part of that starts, when you've done a whole lot for yourself and you feel like you're you don't necessarily need to be super comfortable.
Safe.
Yeah, I would say safe.
Yeah.
Safety is the word. When you feel safe, when you go to work, you put in your best. You don't have to think about not getting paid or I just finished doing my part. Am I going to get paid? You're not thinking about that.
Right.
But when it comes to the story of the young lady, because I know I've heard it before, the young lady that you took through school.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. Did someone contact you? And I know part of it could be as a result of your travel experience.
Right.
But how did that happen? Did you go to Ghana or did you, how walk us through that?
Sure. So I went to Ghana.
Okay.
I've always loved traveling. I've been to the Dominican Republic. And again, it was always around health and working in hospitals and all that. So I can't stress this enough. Stay busy, right? Like, stay busy doing the things that are aligned with what you love. It will come together. right?
I like that.
So I always did those things. I was always busy. I never went back home on summers. I just found something to do, found someone to pay for it, and went. Okay. And so I went to Ghana.
I like the part where you say you found someone to pay for it.
It's critical. Because I knew I didn't have it and my family didn't have it.
Yeah.
So backstory, there was this online, what I would do often is I would find opportunities for internships, etc. And if I wasn't ready to apply yet, I would just save them. I would make a folder and I would just slide them in a folder throughout the year. Okay. Again, very casually. One day I opened the folder and I realized, wow, this site allows me to travel. I can apply for a scholarship.
Fantastic.
On a bathroom hotel floor because it was like a night where my friends were out and it was an event for university.
Yeah.
Everyone was getting dressed and everything. I tucked away myself in a bathroom. On my phone, I typed in something on a whim, did not expect it to do anything, sent it in, submitted, and said, I want to apply to get the scholarship. And I got it.
Fantastic.
You literally miss every opportunity you don't do.
That's very true.
I could have said, oh, I don't have a laptop. Oh, I'm not sure if maybe I can't type a perfect sentence because I'm just tucked away trying to get this sent out. We come up with so many reasons why we don't do something.
Yep.
And so I found that I just sent it. I did it. Once I sent it in, I was able to get that approved. I went to Ghana for about 8 weeks. During that time, there was a girl working in the home that I stayed in.
Okay.
Her name is Sedi Nam. And she was so kind, very sweet. And ultimately, I was about the same age as her. She was about 1 year older than me. At the time, I was about 21.
Okay.
And she had not finished high school. And so I was just kind of taken aback because I was about to enter my senior year of university. And seeing someone that was about my age, not even getting the opportunity to finish high school. I had a couple nurses work with me and we ended up finding a school that was nearby. There was boarding available and I just prayed about it for a couple of days because I didn't want to make a commitment to someone that I could not keep.
Okay.
I committed and then I just did it. And it was difficult because she struggled actually in the first few months. She didn't do super well in her exams. So it didn't look promising. It looked like it was for nothing, to be honest.
Wow.
But what she did that I didn't know was she had a resilience in her. She studied. She went back for like a little bit of money that I had left over just to help her transition. She didn't touch it. She waited till she studied, took that same money, took it for her exams, took her exams again.
Wow.
Passed them, went to nursing school. And she called me about a year later and she just said, hey, Athena, I just wanted you to know, thank you so much. I'm in nursing school. She sent me pictures. And I had thought that whole year that like I did that, I made that sacrifice. And at the time I was a student, I had a little campus job and I just had enough money to send. That's all I had.
Wow.
Everything I sent to her. And so seeing how it's transformed her life is amazing. The generations, her daughter's life now.
That's the thing, right? Like you're at the moment, it seems like you've impacted just one person.
Right.
But there's a ripple effect. There's going to be a ton of other people who are going to be depending on her because right now she's a registered nurse. She's married. She has a daughter. And from there, I'm pretty sure even if she lost her senses, she would never forget it.
Yeah.
And it's always just that sort of ripple effect that happens from just being nice and kind to one person and how it gets to impact other people.
Yeah.
That's amazing, Athena.
Please.
Okay.
You're shy.
Before you start crying, let's bring you back. So you get into research here.
Yes.
And how did that go? Was it so different from part of what you experienced back in the States? Were you also going to school at the same time, or it was just like, 100% focused on research?
Right.
When you came to Canada?
So when I came to Canada, I want to say that, of course, a master's is going to be definitely different in terms of demands compared to undergrad.
Yeah.
I do want to also preface this with stating that I got my master's during COVID, which added another layer of difficulty because you're not going to get the same level of guidance. People were afraid to be in a lab together. And so a lot of that training, all of that is happening, a lot of it solo dolo. Luckily, I had already migrated once, like I said before. So I was used to figuring it out, I think. And I think COVID challenged all of us to kind of figure it out.
In so many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And reinvent. And so,
True.
I would say that was difficult and made my experience very unique. Another thing was that a lot of times master's programs, I don't think it matters where, or PhDs are known to be very long.
Research?
Yes.
And then, and that, what year was that? What year did you get in?
I got in 2019.
Oh, 2019.
Yeah.
So that was just before COVID hit.
Right before.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And
no family, no friends, nothing in Calgary.
You've been super resilient. Yeah. I would say from 16 all the way, like.
Yeah.
So, and Calgary, was that always because that's where the opportunity came in from?
Exactly.
Right? So
packed it up.
You were not thinking about any other city.
No, didn't see it, didn't know what it was gonna look like, what it was gonna feel like, smell like. I just packed my stuff.
So that's where I'm going to.
Yep. That's who's paying.
Yeah. the paying the bills. So
exactly.
you better be there. So how would you compare Calgary and Richmond from your experience back then?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Richmond is the south of the U.S., just so people have context. It's going to be on the East Coast. Calgary is on the West Coast, so different in terms of time.
Yeah.
I would say that Calgary is supposedly a little bit like Texas, I've been told. So still southern in terms of pace of life.
Yeah.
I do want to say, though, that Richmond is going to have African Americans. So you're going to have a diversity of Blackness there, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So a lot more compared to Calgary?
Way more. Way more. Yeah, definitely way more.
That's a good perspective because I never expected that. I mean, Virginia for sure. Like, you know, a lot of the African Americans that are there. So you came in Calgary as giving off Texas vibe.
Yes.
Just with the snow.
Yes. Exactly. Extra snow with extra cold.
Extra snow and extra cold. So, and fast forward a couple of months, COVID hit.
Yes.
How did that impact you?
Yeah. It was very lonely. I think mind you, I've dealt with loneliness because I've traveled and I've lived in different countries at that point.
Yeah.
But I think it was to a degree that felt extreme because you had no contact and I had no context to Canada at all at the time. I landed at the end of 2019 and it hit basically end of 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
A lot of fear around my family and if they would be okay.
Yeah.
And if something were to happen to me, who would take care of me? Because I was alone. So I think,
And being in healthcare as well.
Exactly.
And seeing firsthand what's going on, the scare and everything.
Yeah.
And just being here without family.
Yeah.
At what point did you start finding community around here?
That's a great question. So remember I mentioned that one of the things I've done is like kind of started a nonprofit.
Yeah.
I built it. Yeah. So I didn't wait for anyone. I just decided to build it. A couple years in Canada, I noticed that it was difficult once you're graduated because at that point I'd already finished my master's because COVID happened for 2-3 years and I got my master's done.
That was a perfect time to actually
came in, got it done.
Get the studies out of the way.
Exactly. So those 2 years, for the most part, I was getting my master's. Once I graduated, I just realized it's much harder as an adult, right? To connect, to meet new people. You want to have boundaries, of course, at work.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
Yep. So you needed to build that community elsewhere. And so I started it. I met with a girl. She's also an immigrant woman from Uganda. And we decided to host events, and we would host events throughout the month, every other month. And
those were like in-person
events.
So what are you guys focused on?
Well, originally it was just for the summer. It was called Vibes, right? It was supposed to be like just summer vibes.
Yeah.
We did hiking. I guess my personal focus was getting Black and brown bodies and people of color in spaces that we are not used to being
where
in.
They would typically not.
Yeah, and I think that's like silent advocacy, right?
It's so glaring.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of activities out there that when you go there, you don't see a lot of people of color.
Right.
It's either maybe, the crowd is more like Caucasian focused.
Right.
You don't see Black, brown, and other folks there. So
yeah.
It's great that you guys are thinking about that initiative to get more diversity out there.
And I think places. Like if you look at it, so many people from our populations, and when I say our, I mean people of color, Black people specifically, they often struggle with health issues, right? They struggle with so many of those kinds of things because we're not active and we don't have it as a part of our lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so I felt like this is another way for us to find out things that we enjoy, we don't even know about. So I found out that I love paddleboarding.
Oh.
Yeah. So I love to go out there.
Do you swim?
I can swim, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm an island girl, so I can swim.
For anyone who's trying to get into paddleboarding, please go
know how to swim.
Go learn how to swim first.
For sure.
Because when you fall into that water, you don't need someone to come get you out of it.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's true though. It's true. But yeah, so we did like all kinds of. Most recently, I went skiing with a couple of friends. Fantastic. So we are really big on just people getting out there and doing things that they never thought that they would have access to.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Because especially out here in Calgary, for a lot of my African friends, even some of the Caribbean friends, like folks gonna lack things to do during winter.
For sure.
Right? It's almost like everybody, once it's winter, they start hibernating.
Yeah.
And then they're just like counting down to like spring or summer
again.
So they could, just blossom and head out again. But I think during winter, like those different activities where people could really,
come together.
Yeah, come together, get involved, and still have a great time when it comes to when it's winter, and it's not like everything is supposed to shut down during winter.
Right. And I think a lot of us struggle with loneliness too, in the winter especially.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because oftentimes when you're first coming, your money's a little tight. You might rent a basement. It's already dark in there.
Yep. No, that's no shade at all. Like
no, of course. I did it.
I also did it. So if you're coming in as an immigrant, like don't start comparing yourself to other people who have been here for like 5-6 years.
Yeah.
You see what they drive, you see where they live. Please just cut your coat according to your size. Take your time. If you got to go get that basement apartment, get it.
Yeah.
I started that way. I lived in the basement, for almost 2 years until I got my feet to where I needed to be, and then kind of scale from there. So never apologize for where you're starting.
Never.
It's your story. It's your journey. You got to be the pilot. You got to stay in control of how things happen. So let's fast forward from there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to take it light a little bit at this point. So I'll ask you a series of questions. I want you to tell me the first answer that comes to your mind when you hear the question.
Okay.
Right? Are you ready?
I think so.
WhatsApp or iMessage?
What's up with it?
WhatsApp or iMessage?
WhatsApp for sure.
WhatsApp?
For sure.
Okay,
WhatsApp.
why?
Because, I mean, that's where your family is. That's where everyone is. That's where you need to be. For sure. What's up?
So irrespective of the type of phone that people use.
I have an iPhone and I still think what's up.
Okay.
It's where the family is. Yeah.
So as someone who travels a lot, this would probably apply to you.
Yeah.
Airbnb or hotels?
Oh, that's hard now.
Because, no, it's not.
I think hotels.
I'll make it easy for you.
Luxury hotels.
Okay. You've taken it a notch higher. Luxury hotels.
Yeah.
Okay. Why luxury hotels?
I need the sheets changed every day.
You don't want to get to deal with.
I don't someone to come and freshen it up, let the room look nice. Yeah.
Okay.
We're already paying the money. Might as well.
And if you're doing group travels as well,
oh no, Airbnb then.
Airbnb?
For sure.
Yeah, if you're traveling with friends and all that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Airbnb every time.
I would say for sure if it's just like, myself, my partner, or it's definitely hotels.
Yeah.
But if it's with a group of friends,
the boys,
I
saw a little.
Then Airbnb. No, I do.
We saw you travel too.
I do. I love traveling actually.
I saw you posted.
But this is not my Jakpa story. This is all about you. So let's come back to your travel experiences.
Okay.
And I know for a lot of people, whenever they come in, right? When they start seeing, if you go on, whether it's Instagram or, WhatsApp stories for those who use WhatsApp, you see a lot of, people posting maybe on the stories.
Yeah, for sure.
They're in the Dominican or the Bahamas or in Jamaica or in different places, right? A lot of folks, I think, most people love traveling.
Yep.
At what point did you start upping your travel game?
Ooh.
Because for me, I would say first off, when I got in, for the first couple of years, I wasn't thinking about traveling.
Not at all.
It was just, I just wanted to get work done,
safe,
take care of my family, pay the bills, keep my head straight.
Yeah.
When I see the travel videos, I just pretend like I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, you know what? This is the stage to put in the work.
Right.
So at what point for you did your travel game, did you start upping that?
I don't know if I've upped it enough.
Okay.
I don't know if I've upped it enough.
So you're just scratching the surface.
Yeah, I think for me, it depends on the season, right? So this past year, I don't want to get ahead of it, but I bought a home.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
See?
So
Athena,
that year.
Athena the investor.
Yeah, exactly. I'm easing my way in. A big part of that is in Canada, at least, they give you, at the time, I don't know if they still have it, but this first home buyer kind of incentive. Yeah. Exactly. And so I'm currently single. And so I wanted to buy something before I met someone, because then we'd have two homes between us.
That's
ideal
fantastic.
World, right? So I went ahead and did that. So that means this year I didn't really travel as much because I was really focusing
investment focus
on that. Exactly. And so I did instead concerts, lots of concerts. So I think it just depends.
Okay.
I think the pro about being in Canada or US is that everything is drivable. You can take a trip to Edmonton. You could do a staycation. I've gone to Banff several times.
Yeah.
But then once I purchased, I did find my way to Turks and Caicos.
Okay.
So I do think that I'm amping up this year for sure.
Yeah.
I already have 2 or 3 trips that I'm thinking about. But I think I just say all that to say, it depends on the season that you're in.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay for you to realize, because I was turning 30 that year, and I was feeling like I should be on a boat.
Special milestone.
Yeah, I felt like I should be on a boat or in Dubai or somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was buying a house and doing the practical thing. And so I do think it's important for you to realize that you get to choose your pace and your season and not let that be informed by anyone.
Yeah. I think just understanding where you are.
Yep.
Making your decisions regardless of what every other person around you is doing.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're not going to observe or try to, understand what's going on out there.
Right.
But understanding where you are takes a lot of pressure off you. Like
1,000%.
This is your journey. This is your story. It's your Jakpa story. It's your experience.
Right.
You get to call the shots, and you're always going to do it your way and be unapologetic about it.
Right.
So, a reason why I asked that is because, for a lot of folks that would probably just, like move in, and they're already thinking about that. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Okay.
But I just feel like, hey, first couple of months or even years, it's like focus time. Focus on making sure that the foundation is really good.
Yep.
So that when you're skating from there, you're not thinking about a rocky foundation.
1,000%.
That, could just shake things off. So it's inspiring that you're about, when you were hitting 30, you were focused more on buying a home.
Right.
Because I've seen some videos out there with people who are just like, you know what? Level 3, that they gotta turn things up and, go have a great time. So that tells me a lot about how focused you are on achieving, the goals that you set for yourself.
Yeah.
And how was that experience going through your first
purchase?
Yeah, the purchasing process for your property. We're not giving investment advice, but,
although no, I agree. I think for me, a scary part that I think all immigrants are going to feel if they don't have a solid base of family members already in the country is that they're going through that process alone. So I just want to reiterate that a lot of this is going to be you doing it, you stepping out on faith, you making a decision, you taking a risk, but in the context of the fact that you've already taken the biggest risk, you've already packed everything up, you've already moved to a whole new country. So nothing you do from there is going to be more scary. Use your savings if you have to, buy the place if you have to, take the risk at this point. It's safer, you can rebuild here easily, but recognizing that like you're going to make those decisions alone. So a lot of it was me making decisions alone.
Okay.
Originally, I also wanted to go with a person of color as my real estate agent because, we want to keep it in the family.
Exactly.
But that person unfortunately didn't perform.
Okay.
And so I ended up with someone else. And I say that to say, sometimes when you're making these big purchases, etc., you definitely want to lead with who you know to be the best.
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's the best decision for you and your money, and you've worked really hard, right? With that said, the more you get established in a community, the more I'm sure a couple of realtors at this point.
Well, I do. I do know a couple of them because it's really about. I love what you said, by the way, because sometimes you want to support, people who look like you, people within the community, but
they may not act like you.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. They may look like you, they may not act like you. Yeah. And I think for sure, like, how well references go, especially in this part of the world.
Yes, 100%.
Right? If you come in reference by someone I know and trust,
right,
I would almost put you at that same pedestal with that person.
Right.
Now it's really up for you to screw things up.
Exactly. Make it or break it.
Yeah. But for me, when it comes to business, I don't, bend the rules.
Solely on emotions.
It's based on performance.
1,000%.
So I can absolutely relate with what you said about, you gave this person an opportunity, they didn't perform. You had to go with someone who is performing because whether you like it or not, that's you putting your investment on ground. That's you taking that risk.
Yep.
And you definitely want to make sure that you're making the best decision.
Yes.
So no sentiments, unfortunately, when it comes to business. Like it's really all about performance.
But that's a reminder, I think, to everyone that your reputation truly does matter. Right?
True.
And people will remember how you make them feel and how you show up.
Exactly.
On your jobs. Someone could be beneath you. They go on to get a new job in a new place. They're going to remember you. And so you want to show up and you want to perform.
100%. 100%. Because even at work, if you think about a lot of the decisions that get made, when you're not in the room.
1,000%.
Right?
Not even in the office.
Not even in the office. It's
over drinks.
Yeah, someone else, like advocating for you because they probably they don't have to know you personally, but just how you show up at every point in time, being your best self, putting your best foot forward, it goes a long way. And it's the same thing outside of work when it comes to people who know you, people who can put in a word when you're not there, and it really opens up a lot of doors.
1,000%. Yeah.
So Athena, I'm going to switch over to something else.
Okay.
We have a tradition here on the podcast where the previous guest leaves a question for the next guest.
I hope it's a good one.
And fortunately, I don't get to read it until you're seated right here and you have to open it yourself. So once you open it, you can go to the last question. That'll be your question from the previous guest. And you can read it out and then answer.
Wow, it's a very powerful question. Okay, so the question is, what do you want to be remembered for or by when you're gone from this earth?
Wow, that's deep.
Very deep. There's this quote, I don't remember who said it, but it's just a powerful African-American woman, because I, of course, have American influence. She said that she wants to be remembered as someone who gave her all. She wants to be remembered as someone who tried. And I think that's what I believe in. I think that there's no way to be perfect.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we stunt our own growth when we're waiting for that perfection. And I want to be someone that said, I took the steps that I thought was best at the time with the information I had at the time to make better choices for me and to contribute to my lineage.
I love that.
Yeah.
I always say something, whenever I'm with my friends. And when I get to meet people, I try to make sure at every stage, all you got to do is just do your best.
Yeah.
Right? Based on the information that you had at that time and what you knew at that time, are you going to make a decision that is different from the decision you made then? So this is what you knew then, and this is the decision that you made. Now, fast forward. If you knew the same things that you knew back then, would you make a different decision? So I always ask myself that question. If my answer to that question is yes, then regret has no role around
1,000%.
me. Because I'm just be like, you know what, I did what I was supposed to do based on what I knew, and just put my best foot forward. So now is your turn.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to leave a question for the next guest.
Okay.
And when the next guest is there, they'll have to answer it.
Whew. Okay. I'll just write something quickly. I hope my writing is okay. There you go. Good luck to them.
Good luck to them.
Thank you.
Well, I hope the person's not going to be sweating.
Me too.
when they read it. Athena, it's been a pleasure having you on Jakpa Stories, and I think your experience navigating different phases as a 16-year-old,
crazy,
your early 20s, going to different countries and staying resilient and super focused. I think the sky is just your limit. Looking back, if you were to see an immigrant that just came in, what would be your words to that person to encourage them, to let them know that whatever it is they're navigating or experiencing, it's just a phase? From your personal experience, what would you tell that person?
Okay, I'll look at them and tell them. If I were to give them any kind of commentary, it would be use everything you are and everything you have toward your end. Be on your side, believe in yourself, and literally everything you have and everything you are. Because I think sometimes we leave things on the table and we think those things don't matter, but they do. That's my advice.
I love that. So what's next for you?
Ooh.
Second investment
I'm getting
property.
married, honey.
Ooh,
that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
I done built it. I'm dating right now. I think I'm dating someone that might be significant. So
that is fantastic. That's great news.
I think it's time to settle down.
Oh.
So I got the job. I got the little property.
So there could be wedding bells this year.
Maybe.
Well, we're gonna be calling our Jakpa family
exactly
to come
celebrate.
Come celebrate with you. And there's something else we're thinking of, which I'll be reaching out to you.
Awesome.
I think you're going to be a good, contributing member to that.
Awesome.
And we're looking to expand certain things beyond what we currently do.
That's great.
But this has been fantastic. It's been amazing having you here on the podcast.
Thank you.
And once again, Athena, thank you for being on Jakpa Stories.
Thank you.
And we'll see you around again.
See you around.